What up, y'all? What's happening? What's up, everybody? Jumped on a little late today. Trying to get myself together. Let some folks jump in here. Good to see everybody, man. Hope everyone's having a great day. Kyra, my girl. What up, Kyra? What up, Audrey? Swing RX in the building. Let's go. Good to see y'all. Daffrey, good to see you. Ready for some truth. You know I got it for you today. Absolutely. BM Gonzalez. What's up? Brianna Patrice. How you doing? Kimana. What up, girlfriend? Good to see you. J24711. Good to see you. Olivia, good to see you. Man, happy Tuesday, y'all. Hope everybody's having a great day so far. As always, Jeff Gange. Good to see you, man. As always, let me know where you're tuning in from. We'll jump in. I got a lot of questions today. 3G Money, 35G Money. What's happening, man? Let me know where y'all from. Let me know. Back in the VA this week after a week in Colorado. It was awesome. It was a great time. I'm here for another day, and then I go to Legacy. So let's go. Tara, what's happening? Woody, what's happening? Carly, what's happening? Philly in the house. Kyra, always representing. I love that you're always here. I really appreciate you for always jumping in and asking questions. I really appreciate it. NorCal, soon to be Texas. Oh my gosh, it's happening. Orange County, okay. Florida, we're getting some good mixtures these last couple of weeks. I love it. Florida, where else? Listen, if you hear, you might as well interact, right? You might as well interact. That's what we're here for. Where you tuning in from, y'all? Gina, what's up? Sacramento just came back from Colorado as well. Okay. Yeah, you must play on LTG. Tamaya. Is that what you play? Connecticut in the house. What's happening? You play on LTG, Tamaya? Tamia? It might be Tamia. Ohio, what's happening, Carly? Good to see you, man. Awesome. Well, either way, congratulations. I got a few questions for y'all. I jumped on a little bit late, so I definitely want to get San Antonio. Okay. Texas. I love it. Okay, Tamia. I think it's Tamia. Glad to see you, man. Congratulations on the Power Poll. That's exciting. That's amazing to win out of all those teams. Big kudos to y'all. Big shout out to LTG. I love LTG. I send all my kids in the Bay Area to LTG. So good. Oregon, okay. Tara, what I represent for the Pacific Northwest. That's where I'll be moving back to at some point here. So not Oregon, but Pacific Northwest, back to Washington. But all right, y'all. Excited to be on here with you guys today. Like I said, I just got back from Colorado. Nukes, what's up? Just got back from Colorado, headed to Atlanta on Thursday, out to Legacy, get to see a couple of my girls. But I am pit stopping in Virginia Beach tomorrow to see two of my girls playing a camp in the morning. I might get to watch a few of their games. We'll see how it goes. But I'm in Virginia. They're going to be in Virginia. It makes no sense not to go check them out. So I'm going to go do that, one of my 2027s and one of my 2028s. So I am so grateful to God for giving me this opportunity to be able to do this work and to be able to travel across the country to support athletes who are chasing a dream of getting recruited. It's a really great honor that I have. I'm super excited that I get to do it. And I'm excited to be a part of your journeys as well, just by simply giving you feedback from questions that people ask about social media or about the recruiting process. So let's jump in. Let's see. Melody Starks, number 9, said, I know to keep films short, but for home runs, is it necessary to show up until I touch home base? I like this question, Melody. It's a great question. And I should have asked you further questions, but here's what I'm going to say to this. If you are a power hitter and you got like 3 home runs in one video, I would definitely try to cut it short a little bit, maybe just get second base. But if it's a part of like, okay, I got all these singles and doubles in here and 1 or 2 home runs, girl, let it shine. Let them see you run around the bases. They'll be all right. But just strategically place it in your social media video so that it makes sense. I usually have my players just run it all the way through, but I kind of strategically place it. So there's like a double or single or triple and then a home run, especially if they're not power hitters, but they just so happen to hit a home run. I don't make that the priority because if you start the video with the home run and you're not a power hitter and you run around all the bases, ain't nobody staying to watch the rest. But if you go ahead and mix it in, it'll be a little bit better. I hope that makes sense for you. So good question, Melody. I like it. And congratulations on hitting your home runs. I love it. Over the fence power. I see you. Sydney Tanner has a question. Sydney Tanner 27. When and how should I start the recruiting process? Sydney, my girl, I done talked about this so many times. Key softball, what's happening? I love to see you in here today. But I have so many videos where I've answered this question probably every single week. So I'm gonna give you guys 2 things that you should know. I always leave my videos from the week before up for an entire week. So always go back and watch it. But if not, I have it on my YouTube channel as well. And I do have a video of like things that you can do to get started, but I will make sure I do another video that gives you this process. The short answer is, hopefully if your number, say Sydney 10 or 27, hopefully your grad year is not 27. And so if that's the case, I got a whole different response to this. But if you're not and you're a little bit younger, here's my advice. At 8th grade, you should already be playing on a travel team that's going to be potentially getting you to the next level. So a high level travel team, you should already be attending prospect camps, ending your 8th grade year, prospect camps. You should already be having a social media presence. You should already be skills training, as well as a little bit of maybe conditioning or strength and conditioning training. And you should also already in your 9th grade year start sending emails. So the quickest answer to that is, if you are not in 8th grade, you're moving to 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade year, you should have those things in place already. But I think one of the things that most people like to shy away from, 2 things, is the training and the team. Those 2 things are super important, especially with the 5 for 5 2027's grads situation. We had a call with our 2027s today because we were really having a conversation on realistically, like, where are we at? What kind of traction do you actually have? If there is none, we need to pivot, or we need to be in a situation where we're performing at our best when coaches come watch us play. So that really relies a lot on training and mental performance. Like, are you able to show up when a coach watches you? And understand, 5 for 5, like, a coach, your main role in the recruiting process is to help coaches trust your skill and your consistency. Trust your skill, your consistency, and then trust you as a person. But those 2 things are first. So if I, as a coach, cannot trust your skill, and I have a girl that's been on my team for 3, 4, 5 years, I'm 100% going to trust them and take them over you. So this is why training becomes so important, and the team that you play for, because the reputation and the competitiveness that you build being on that high level team helps build credibility. That's super important. So if you're not doing any sort of training, Sydney, that would be 100% something I would say start with. But I'll do another video where I kind of break it down for you, but a ton of information on my YouTube channel about starting the process. All right. Good question. Taisha, good to see you, girlfriend. Lily, Donnie, Dory, good to see you. All right, y'all, let's go. Next question is from Sarah Smith, 56_. When should you start reaching out to coaches? So I just kind of answered that question. My athletes in my program start reaching out to coaches as early as 8th grade, but it's not what you think. In 9th grade, you should 100% be building that relationship with emails with coaches. So 9th grade, for sure, for most people, if you're in my program, you'll start in 8th grade. There's a strategy around why we do that. If you want to know that strategy, join my program. All right. But yeah, start emailing for sure when you are in the 9th grade. All right. And the follow-up question, actually, that she didn't realize was a follow-up question, but Briella Johnson 2029 said, well, what should be in my first email to coaches? So y'all must have tag teamed that and didn't even know you tag teamed it. Erica Fuller, what's happening? Good to see you. Follower. Jalicia, good to see you, man. All right, what should be in my first email to college coaches? So let me answer this a different way. Every communication you have with coaches, every time they see you, every time they look at your social media, every time you show up to their camps, there's 3 things they want to know the most. Even when they come to your tournaments, there's 3 things they want to know the most: your name, your grad year, and your position. Now, if you are someone that has been following my philosophies for a while and have been paying attention, the other thing is your strengths. Okay. And the last thing you want to put in your email is a video that breaks down your skill that also reiterates your strengths. So your email in total: name, grad, your position, your strengths, and a video that showcases your strengths so that coaches can evaluate you. So whatever you do in your first email, you want to make sure you put video. You want to make sure you put your grad year. But I think also when it comes to your first email, you want to do a small introduction. Okay. And I'm not saying like give them everything around like, oh, I want to major in this. I want to be in this school. I want to be in this part of the country. I like this. I like taking walks on the beach. Like, no, we don't have time for that. name, grade, your position. My name is such and such. I play this position. Some of my strengths are this, this, and this. Here is a video for you to evaluate me, as well as here is a link to my social media. So that way you can follow me and see the progressions that I'm making over time, or the process I'm making over time. So that is what you want to think about. Joe Tech, how you doing? Ileana, how you doing? Robin Deal or Dow, how you doing? So good question, Brielle. Hopefully that answered the question, Briella. All right. Good job, Kevin. I wasn't saying good job, Kevin. That's actually the person's handle. So that's pretty cool. But good job, Kevin. Asked me 2 questions. The first question is, are unofficial visits still a thing? They are 100% still a thing. And let me just tell you guys the difference between official and unofficial visits, so you guys know. One, the school pays for. The other one, they don't. Or a part of it, another one, they don't. So the only difference between the two really is the school paying for your trip or some part of your trip, so that way you're getting an official visit, and you're also getting maybe the opportunity to have meals paid for, getting to go to games and things like that. The unofficial visits are you're paying your way around. They might still give you game tickets, but they can't buy you meals, or you can't be a part of like stay in the dorms, things like that. So that's really the only difference. And a lot of schools still do unofficial visits because financially it costs a lot to try to bring an athlete and their family to your school. So I think only when you get into the talks of like Division I, high level Division IIs, or we're really trying to impress a player at our program or try to get her to like our program, will coaches put out money for official visits. Outside of that, more than likely they'll say, hey, we want you to come this time. There's also a camp involved. And with the camp involved, you also have to pay for that as well. So that's the only difference, I would say. So, by the way, those of you guys who are new, Perez, good to see you, as well as Ward and somebody else. Vivi, just know that I put a prompt the day before in my stories that asks for questions for today. That's usually the best way to get your questions answered. If I have time at the end, I will definitely attack those questions. But to be sure, you can always DM me those questions ahead of time. I'll save it for the next week. Or, like I said, if I ask for them at the end, I might be able to cover them. But there you go. Robin, same thing for you. So just so you know. All right. Good job, Kevin. Also asked, how do new coaches build relationships with college coaches? And I love this question. And I love the intent for some people and their ability to want to create new teams. I think it's admirable. I think it's honest for most people. Some people just want to do it for their daughters. But it's really hard to build a relationship as a new program. It just is. Like I said, trust is a key word, and trust takes time. So coaches will recruit from teams based off of 3 things: the reputation of the team, the relationships they have with those coaches, and past experiences. So when I say past experiences, how it's different from the other 2 is, let's say I did go watch one of my players play, and you just so happen to play on a different team that's playing against that team, and you do kind of good, and I give you a shot and you do well in my program, I might be willing to go watch you play, or your team recruit from your team again, because of the success that I had with one of your players from your team. So what's really important for you guys to know is that if you are on a new team and you do get this opportunity, you kind of got like a big responsibility to make it make sense for coaches to want to look at your team and your program again. The other thing that's really hard about coaches trusting new coaches is because teams start every single day and they don't last. They might last for 3 months. They might last for 6 months. They might last for a year. So a coach is less likely to want to invest in meeting and learning about a new team to know that they might not even make it to the next year, right? The other thing about that too is sometimes you're not a part of an organization. And if a coach likes a player from your team, and let's say, all right, cool, I want to build a relationship with that group of people, but do they have any kids coming through the pipeline that I can continue to invest my time into developing or growing or learning relationships with them because they have more teams? When you start with one team and you only have one team, that's also really hard. So you want to, if you're going to build something, I would say definitely build up the development of that team first. Have more than one team, at least a feeder, like a 16U, 14U, 14U, 12U, maybe 14U, 12U, because that gives you some time to build it up. So by the time you get to 16U, you at least have a year or 2 years under your belt. that kind of gives coaches understanding, like, okay, they're going to stick around for a while. Let me start paying attention to them. And then I would tell you to get to the NFCA convention, or get to those events where the college coaches run different seminars, and be brave enough. Like we tell our athletes to be brave enough, you also should be brave enough to go speak to those coaches, introduce yourself, let them know who you are. Another thing I think is really important is you should have a website or at least have a social media where you are reposting your players, where you are sharing their stuff, but build a presence on social media just like the players. Because when I look at the teams or the girls I talk to or the teams I look at, I always look at their social media and see what coaches are following them. I always look to see like where their players have gone in the past. So you being a new team without that sort of reputation gets a little bit challenging, if that makes sense. So it's challenging. It's really hard. It's not impossible, but it would be something I would start younger and build into so they would know, like, okay, for the last 3 years, they've been building something special. Now we're ready to showcase to the world at 16U, and it just makes more sense that way. That would be my advice. Don't jump into the game with a new team at 16U. Don't jump into the game with an 18U team. Just to be honest with you, just will be worse for you than it is easy for you. So hopefully that answers your questions. Kylie Ovell, 2029, asked the question, when should I send emails? I mentioned earlier, 2029, you should start sending emails. So now, and I would say, here's the thing. There's a lot of ways to make first connections with coaches. You should introduce yourself in an email, but with the summer happening, there's really no excuse not to be sending emails because there's so many things going on, from the tournaments you go to the camps you're attending. You should be making communication with coaches. Even if they don't respond, you should be practicing that muscle of sending them those messages. Adriana is in the house. Welcome. Adriana has some good, exciting news today. I will not share her news, but super proud of her and her journey. In 3 months, we were able to do something that's 2 months, I think, actually. Together, which is awesome. So I'm super proud of her, excited for her, look forward to her being able to share her news whenever that time comes. Dan Urban, good to see you, man. All right. So good question. All right. Kaylee Gravon? I think it's Gravon. Kaylee Gravon asked me a question that she saw a video about me talking about stats. When, as a contact hitter, what sort of stats should she be sharing? And I love this question, Kaylee, and I appreciate that you've identified yourself as a contact hitter with my players today. One of my girls, my 2031 athlete in my program, and you heard that right. She is 7th grade going into 8th grade in my recruiting program. But when you hear how this girl talks, when you see how this girl plays, you'll understand why I am allowing 2031 athletes into my program like her. But we talked about the role of her offensively, because she had named herself like a deep outfield hitter or something. And I was like, what does that mean? So we had some conversations about what does it mean to be a power hitter and taking ownership of that versus being a gap-to-gap hitter. So I just want to say to you, Kaylee, that I appreciate you understanding the difference between some of the different variations. And I was telling her with Kat, like, there's no real way, like, for her to be successful in her job if we don't have gap-to-gap hitters, contact hitters, and even slappers. So as a contact hitter, what is your main role? You want to think about that as you answer the question of what stats to use. What's your main role? And how do you have the most success in that role? So as a contact hitter, you're a base hit hitter, consistent hitter, and you're usually someone that's going to move runners. So the things you would highlight might not be stat numbers specifically, but they could be things like on base percentage. It could be just the simple facts of, like, I sacrificed 3 times to move. I moved over, you can even say I moved over 4 runners out of my 6 at-bats. You could say I was able to hit behind the runners. You can kind of give people an understanding of you understanding that what your role is, you know what I'm saying? So it might not be a stat number, which is what another video I created about is that it doesn't have to be a number all the time. In fact, more times than not, your stats coaches don't take serious, because go watch the video, but because you'll see that with that, with the stats, like, you'll see from that video that there's like a white section in stats and a gray section in stats from UCLA. And the gray section might have athletes that have a higher batting average, but they haven't played as many games or had as many at bats. And so people who just use their stats, it only makes you look like you're trying to create stats for or use stats for validation. But really, it doesn't do that for you because coaches can't take the stats seriously. They don't know the details behind those numbers and those stats. So I would just say speak more on like how your role is valuable to the team. So I moved this many runners this weekend. I had this many singles or got on base this many times. I was able to hit behind the runner to advance the runners. Like giving us that sort of information or coaches that sort of information could be really good. All right. So Kaylee, good question. Hopefully I was able to answer that for you. Someone asked, could I do a video on how to respect coaches' offers without rushing to make a decision? We've heard from big time coaches, if a school rushes you to make an offer, then they might not be the right fit for you. Recently at another camp, our coach said, if you don't accept my offer within the first 24 to 48 hours, then know that this school isn't the first fit for you. Okay, so I love this. And this is a parent that reached out because I actually made a video about this today. And I said this like not jokingly, but like kind of jokingly because a dad asked me a question about Colorado and being in supplemental pool, and Colorado already ended. So like it didn't really matter why, like what people thought, like you were already in it and it already happened. So what's the big deal? But a lot of us get caught up in like bleacher conversations and in other people's opinions on social media. And you guys already know how I feel about this to begin with. Jeremiah 1:5 says that before I created you in your mom's womb, I knew you, I created you, I chose you. And so where I'm getting at with this is everybody's journey is different. And a lot of times what happens is a lot of us are having conversations with other people, trying to get feedback on tips and nuggets for how the recruiting process works. But you have to understand that you are different. And your opportunities are going to be different and your experiences are going to be different. And this athlete was a 2029 athlete, which means she might not have been in the supplemental pool this year, but she 100%, if worked with me, we're going to be on different teams. But next year she's in the right power pool and things like that. So in the moment, you're just going through what you think is necessary and important, but know like their experience is not yours. And what happened 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 1 year ago, as we all know with the 5 for 5 is different. Right. And I have 2027 athletes, like I said in the video, that are getting committed and it's the 5 for 5. And you're like, bro, all these kids are saying they're getting decommitted. But the reality is there's probably a deeper story that you have no idea about. And their experience is not your experience. And that school is not your school. So stop taking on what other people are saying or thinking about the journey. It's cool to dialogue, but really, you got to really separate your mental health, your mindset, the way you see things. You have to separate that from what everybody else is saying and doing. Because listen, if you are investing in training, if you're on the right team, you're doing all the things, social media, all the things you need to do, you need to trust that a little bit more, right? And if you can't trust the fact that your training is getting you to where you need to get to, you find a different trainer. Don't find a new person to tell you something different. No, find a new trainer, right? So I want to say that first and foremost. So let's go back to the actual answer. How do I let coaches know that I need more time? Two things to this. When my athletes are in the process of having conversations with coaches, we've already done our due diligence to know about those schools. So we're not wasting time with coaches who we're not sure that's the right fit for them to begin with. Now, when we do have that conversation, and they do have these offers that come to them, we always tell the coaches, thank you so much. We'd like to take a moment to think about that. We want to take it home, talk about it, talk it over, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Is there a time limit that you have for us? 24 hours, 48 hours. Okay, cool. We will honor that 24 hours. And all you have to do if you're not ready is say, hey, coach, I need another day. I need another day. And that's something you have to practice as you go through life is like, if you're not ready to make a decision, don't let somebody force you into a decision, but just communicate to them that you need another day. But back to the point of like, we already know who we're talking to and we already have like a pros and cons list before we even get on those phone calls with those coaches. So what we're doing is what is important. Adriana and I had this conversation the other day. What's important to me about the school I'm going to? What am I looking for in the team? What am I looking for in the coaches, the academics, the location, all the things. If that school that I'm talking to and they've given me an offer has checked all those boxes and they're giving you financial ability that's going to help you get there and save some money or at least give you offer money to you, and it's something that your family can do, then what is the need to wait? Because we've had our due diligence done before this. If you're just now meeting with these coaches, and you haven't done your due diligence or your research, that's not the coach's fault. That's kind of your fault, right? So I think it's kind of what I'm getting at is that it's a two-way street, but you shouldn't be getting on a call with a coach anyway if that coach doesn't fit your list. And I want to be clear on this when I say this to you, that recruiting is not just about them wanting, you wanting something from them. So it's not just about you wanting to be recruited by that school. You have to be in this process with the idea that you have something great inside of you that only you have, that only you can provide for them. And if they are looking to recruit you, they want what you have. And if they don't want what you have, or they don't value it enough to give you a little bit more time, then they're not the right fit. But you have to take the recruiting process and realize that you have something very powerful to give them, just as much as they have an offer for you. That's a great opportunity, right? So if you can take that into perspective, that helps you free up the idea of like, okay, I really want a school that does this. I want a school that has that. I want a school that's located here. I want a coach staff that does this. I want to be a part of a team that has that. You should already have that in mind before you get on a phone call with the coach. So that would be more of my advice. And then the second part of that, again, is if you get on a phone call with the coach and you don't have that done, you're wasting their time and you wouldn't make a decision to go with them within 48 hours anyway. That makes sense? So don't waste a coach's time. Do your due diligence and your research ahead of time. It doesn't make a coach mean or hurtful if they give you that timeline. Just communicate that I need a little bit more time. And you can do it after the timeline ended. So, okay, we'll give you 48 hours. Okay, great, coach. I'll get back to you then. 48 hours comes around, 26 hours comes around. Hey, coach, by the way, my family and I are still navigating just the numbers, trying to figure everything out. Can we get back to you in 2 more days? Coach can't be mad at that, right? And if they are, you're right. They're not the right fit for you. But let's kind of think about this journey in general as that. And if you saw me in Colorado, let me get it out for y'all. If you saw me in Colorado, I had these gifts. And I'll have these gifts again in Atlanta. Sorry, y'all. Took myself out of the camera. But, I think I put them all in my bag. All right, this is the coach's version. But I had these gifts for everybody in Colorado. And again, if you see me at the Legacy this weekend or PGF Nationals in 2 weeks, know it again. I'll have these out there again. But what I want you to understand is that you were called, you were created, you were called, and you were chosen. And you have these gifts that nobody else has. You are unique, valuable, and enough just as you are. And there's nothing in this recruiting process that can change your value or your worth. So let your light shine. Be exactly who you were meant to be and called to be. Let your light shine and let coaches see that about you and find value in your skill, not in who you are, because God already gave you value. Coaches can't recruit you and add value to who you are, right? They don't add credibility to who you are because you made it to one team or not. God had already given you that, okay? So I wanted to kind of just say that before we end it today. Out of 8 billion people in the world, there's only one of you, which makes you unique, valuable, and enough, okay? I see some of these questions here. I'm going to see, I got like 1 minute left in my allotted time. Music or no music in my highlight videos. Coaches like the sound of the bat. Coach likes the sound of the glove. But music also helps you with views and just potential for going viral. So it's fine to have the music. Just make sure it's music that is uplifting to you and demonstrates your personality and your skill, or your personality, not just a cussing video, cussing songs and things like that. So just choose the songs wisely that maybe can get a coach to appreciate the video more, not want to turn it off. Makes sense? So that what I would say to that. Should the skills video we send in our emails be game footage? Perez, variations. They should be a mixture of both. You should have a mixture of both in your videos, which is you should have a mixture of both in your social media as well. So good question. And then let's see what angles. Yeah, just take a look at my Gianna Garcia. Take a look at my social media. I post videos of the different videos I think is really important in different angles and things like that. So check that out. It'll tell you within that space. Triple Crown Nationals next week. I won't be in Triple Crown Nationals because I don't have no time, man. I don't have no time, pretty girl. Tachi. I'm going to be in Atlanta. I got to come back to Virginia for 2 days and go back to LA. So way across the country. So I'm going to miss Nationals this week, but next time I will definitely get there. Denying a program's offer. Thank you so. One of my athletes today, I'm not gonna say her name. One of my athletes today had to deny an offer. If you have an offer from a school, you need to call them, pick up the phone, and say, thank you so much for the offer opportunity. I really appreciate you, and I really appreciate your interest in me. I've decided to go in a different direction. I really just want to thank you so much. Don't wish them the best. Just say thank you so much, and that's it, okay? So that would be how you deny an offer. One final thing about this, CNN actually used a clip from my videos about verbal commitments and decommitting. If you are verbally committing, even for the girls in my program that I've told that are committed to a program, we are still posting our stuff. We're still, we're not emailing, we're still posting and still training and still playing in tournaments because we 100% need to keep doing those things for two reasons. The coaches who recruit you want to know that you're consistent and that they can trust you. So it doesn't change because you get recruited. Can I still be consistent with this person? Can I still trust this person? I guarantee you some of the people who are being decommitted right now, I hate to say it, but if you go back to their social media, once they got committed, they stopped posting. They stopped showing coaches that they were doing what they needed to do. I'm not sure if that's true, but that's what I believe. I'll go back and look and clarify, but I can almost guarantee it. So keep doing those things so coaches can continue to see your consistency and that they can trust you. But keep doing it because you never know what can happen or what doors might need to open or close. So don't just shut it down because now you have an offer. All right. I am really about to get out of here today. I truly appreciate y'all time. One thing I want to say about this is I had a really great time in Colorado with my athletes. We did a little meet and greet, had about 12 girls there. I had about girls in Colorado from, I think, 12 to 15 different places, which is crazy. We had girls from California, from Washington, from Arizona, from Idaho, from Texas, from Delaware, from Maryland, from Ohio, from Chicago. Don't hurt me, y'all, if I can't remember everybody. But we had girls in our program from all of those places. And what I really realized is I was running a program where we were doing 6 months at a time. And when I left that place, I realized that I really value the relationships that I build with these athletes, and I really value the opportunity to work with them over time until they're committed. So my program is shifting. And for those of you guys that are ever interested, is that we're going to work with you. If you start in 8th grade, 9th grade, or 10th grade, we're working with you through your entire commitment because we just want to be that person that you can rely on. You never know what questions you have until you have the questions, right? And so you want to be able to have a reliable source that has that. So if any of you are interested, I am opening enrollment right now. In my bio, there's a link where you can apply. You basically just go in, apply the application, and you can schedule your own call on my calendar for us to have a meeting, or you can always DM me the word 360. And that way also, it'll take you through a prompt to answer the questions and then schedule a call. But either way, I am opening up applications for these people, for those grad years. So reach out. And my program is focused on a few things: mental performance, identity and development, as well as like knowing personality and communications, social media development, recruiting development, reaching out to coaches for you, connecting you to coaches, coming to your events, to your tournaments, to be a personal liaison for you. That's what we do in our program. Mentor you, have one-on-one calls, group coaching calls, community. It's a really cool space. It's only invite, so you can apply, and then we have a call and we'll determine if it's the right fit. So wanted to leave you guys with that. As always, I really appreciate you guys. Remember, out of 8 billion people in the world, there's only one of you. Recruiting is not about showcasing. It's not about if recruiting is valuable. Recruiting is not about adding value to who you are, because you're already valuable because God gave you that value. But what recruiting is about is showcasing how your skill can add value to a program. All right, 2 different things, which means you got to get in your training. I'm going to keep saying that. But I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. God bless you. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Peace.